Have you ever wondered what it was really like to eat like a caveman? If you're picturing a guy in a loincloth chowing down on a mammoth steak, you're not alone. That's the image the $19 billion paleo diet industry wants you to believe. But what if I told you that's not just wrong, it's a myth? Today, we're diving into the real story of what prehistoric humans ate, and it's going to blow your mind. Stick around, because this isn't just about history. It's about rethinking how we eat today. If you're enjoying this already, hit that like button and subscribe for more myth-busting content. Let's talk about the paleo diet. It's everywhere. Celebrities, influencers, and diet books all swear by it, claiming it's the key to health because it mimics what our ancestors ate. But is it based on solid science, or is it just a modern fad with a catchy name? Recent archaeological discoveries are turning everything we thought we knew about prehistoric diets upside down. Spoiler alert, it's not all about meat. Today, we're traveling back in time, way back, to uncover what our ancestors really ate. From Morocco to Israel, Peru to Tanzania, we'll explore evidence that challenges the meat-centric view of prehistoric diets. And trust me, it's not what you think. Let's start with some groundbreaking evidence. In Taforalt Cave, Morocco, archaeologists found that humans living 13,000 to 15,000 years ago got 80% of their protein from plants, not meat. 80%. That's a game changer. Similarly, in the Andean Altiplano in Peru, around 9,000 years ago, diets were heavily plant-based. And if we go way back to Gesher Benot Ya'aqov in Israel, 780,000 years ago, our ancestors were eating at least 55 different types of plants. Think nuts, fruits, seeds, and vegetables. So much for the caveman steakhouse stereotype, right? This isn't just a one-off finding. Evidence from multiple sites and time periods shows prehistoric humans were omnivores, but plants were the star of the show. According to a study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences PNAS isotopic analysis of bones, confirms plants were a major protein source. Now let's talk about how they ate these plants. Prehistoric humans weren't just grabbing raw veggies and calling it a day. They were foodies, way ahead of their time. They soaked, leached, and pounded plants to make them edible and more nutritious. For example, they processed acorns and legumes using tools like basalt anvils and percussors. They even made prehistoric bread and porridge around 70,000 years ago. And cooking? That's been around for at least 780,000 years, according to New Scientist. Cooking made toxic plants safe and unlocked more nutrients. Picture this: our ancestors sitting around a fire, not just grilling meat, but baking bread or simmering porridge. These were sophisticated eaters, not just survivalists. At Dolní Věstonice in the Czech Republic, archaeologists found 25,000-year-old ceramic vessels likely used for cooking plant-based foods. And at Ohalo II in Israel, 23,000 years ago, they found granaries for storing grains, long before agriculture. Here's where it gets really fascinating. Carbohydrates, yes, carbs, were crucial for human evolution. Our brains are energy hogs, needing a constant supply of glucose to function. Starch-rich plants like tubers, roots, and grains provided that glucose. Evidence from Neanderthal remains shows they ate starchy foods like water lily tubers and grains, as reported by Smithsonian. So, while modern paleo diets often demonize carbs, our ancestors relied on them to fuel their growing brains. Think about it. As humans evolved, our brains got bigger, and that required more energy. Carbs were the fuel for that evolutionary leap. Without them, we might not be here today. Some researchers even argue that starchy plants were key to developing complex behaviors and, eventually, civilization. Prehistoric diets weren't one-size-fits-all. They varied by location, climate, and season. Let's look at the Hadza people of Tanzania, often studied as a model for prehistoric lifestyles. During the dry season, they hunt and gather a mix of foods. But in the wet season, when plants are abundant, their diet becomes almost entirely plant-based. They eat over 100 different plant species, including baobab fruits, tubers, and honey, according to Duke University. This adaptability was key to survival. In colder climates, like those of Neanderthals, meat was more important during winter when plants were scarce. But even then, they ate plants when available. At Gesher Cave in Iraq, Neanderthals consumed wild pulses and other plant foods. So, no single diet fits all prehistoric humans. It depended on where and when they lived. So why did we think prehistoric humans were meat eaters? It's because of something called preservation bias. Animal bones last longer than plant remains, so when archaeologists dig up sites, they find more evidence of meat consumption. But new techniques, like analyzing dental calculus, the plaque on teeth, are revealing the plant side of the story. For example, Neanderthals ate date palms and legumes, which don't leave behind much physical evidence, as noted in The Conversation. It's like finally getting the full picture after years of only seeing half of it. Science is catching up, and it's rewriting the story of our past. Here's a fun fact. Prehistoric humans had a taste for flavor. They included bitter, tannin-rich plants in their diets, suggesting they valued taste as much as nutrition. They were also innovators, forming early partnerships with other species. For example, the Hadza work with the greater honey-guide bird to find honey. The bird leads them to hives, and in return, they get a share of the spoils. It's like an ancient version of DoorDash, as described by BBC. Who knew cavemen had such good taste and such clever friends? Let's bring this back to today. The paleo diet industry is massive, worth $500 million in 2019 and projected to hit $19.25 billion by 2032, according to Business Insider. But is it based on reality? Based on what we've learned, it seems like it's built on a flawed premise. Our ancestors didn't just eat meat. They ate a wide variety of plants, processed them sophisticatedly, and relied on carbohydrates for brain development. So maybe it's time to rethink what eating like a caveman really means. If we're going to go paleo, let's do it right. More plants, more diversity, and yes, even some carbs. In conclusion, the idea that prehistoric humans were primarily meat eaters is a myth. Archaeological evidence shows they had diverse plant-based diets that were crucial for their survival and evolution. So, the next time someone tells you to go paleo, maybe suggest they include more plants and carbs in their diet, just like our ancestors did. After all, they knew a thing or two about eating for health and longevity. So, what do you think? Could going back to our roots mean eating more plants? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you have any thoughts or questions about prehistoric diets or modern eating habits, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.